What if one day, money suddenly vanished from our lives? How would our world change? Imagine a world where the green bills in your pocket, the shiny coins in your purse, and the digital numbers on your banking app cease to exist. It's a concept that's both fascinating and terrifying. In this video, we'll be embarking on an intellectual journey, exploring the top 10 things that could happen if money became a thing of the past. We'll delve into the potential return of the barter system, the elimination of the wealth gap, and changes in the job market. We'll also consider the potential collapse of financial markets, reduction in crime, and difficulties in international trade. We'll probe further into the shifts in power dynamics, the potential for increased community cooperation, and the environmental impact. It's quite a list, isn't it? Buckle up, because we're about to challenge what you know about money and its role in society. Let's dive into this fascinating thought experiment and start with number 10. Number 10, the return of the barter system. If money were to suddenly vanish from our lives, we'd likely find ourselves reverting to an old method of exchange bartering. This system, where goods and services are exchanged directly, was the primary form of trade before the advent of currency. Imagine a world where you'd trade a dozen eggs from your backyard chickens for a pair of handmade shoes. Or perhaps you're a carpenter, and you'd offer your skills to build a fence in exchange for home-cooked meals for a week. The possibilities are endless. Of course, this system isn't without its challenges. Determining the relative value of goods and services can be tricky, and there's always the issue of finding someone who wants what you have and has what you want. Despite these potential complications, in a world without money, we'd likely adapt and find ways to make bartering work. So, we'd be swapping chickens for shoes in no time. Number 9, the disappearance of the wealth gap. Imagine a world where the concept of rich and poor vanishes overnight. Without the economic divider of money, we all become equals in the financial sense. The billionaires in their glass towers, the homeless huddled in city doorways, the middle-class families in their suburban homes, all on the same economic playing field. The value of a person would no longer be measured by the size of their bank account, but perhaps by their skills, knowledge, and contributions to society. This could lead to a more merit-based society, where individuals are recognized and respected for their abilities and actions, rather than their financial status. The elimination of the wealth gap might usher in an era of increased equality and fairness. But as with all societal changes, there would be challenges to overcome. Yet the potential for a more balanced world is a compelling thought. Billionaires and beggars all on the same footing. Number 8, a revolution in the job market. Imagine a world where everyone is, essentially, their own boss. With money out of the picture, we'd likely see jobs shift dramatically. The driving factor would no longer be a paycheck. Instead, people might choose to work in fields that bring them joy or offer some tangible benefit. The corporate ladder might crumble, replaced by a society where success is measured by personal satisfaction and the value one contributes. We might see a resurgence in hands-on occupations like artisanal baking, gardening, and crafting. Jobs that produce tangible goods or services would likely rise in demand. Without the pressure of financial gain, people could focus on honing their craft or pursuing their passion. The job market might transform into a vibrant tapestry of diverse skills and personal interests. A world where everyone is a passionate baker, gardener, or craftsman, working not for money, but for the love of their craft. A world of passionate bakers, gardeners, and craftsmen. Number 7, the collapse of financial markets. Picture this, a world without money. It's not just your wallet that would feel lighter. The very foundations of our global economy, our financial markets, would crumble. Stocks and bonds, they would cease to exist. These are, after all, monetary instruments representing a slice of a company's value or a government's debt. Without a standardized currency to determine their worth, these financial tools become meaningless. Imagine Wall Street, the pulsating heart of global finance. Without the lifeblood of money, its arteries would run dry. The trading floors, once buzzing with life, would fall silent. The ticker tapes would stop ticking. The screens would go blank. The once towering institutions of finance would be reduced to empty shells, their purpose and power evaporated. In a world without money, Wall Street would turn into a ghost town. Number 6, a potential reduction in crime. Can you imagine a world where the motive of greed is practically obliterated? Where the concept of theft becomes almost obsolete? This could be our reality if money ceased to exist. The very nature of crimes related to theft and greed is rooted in the desire for money or what money can buy. If money were no longer a factor, would there be a point in pickpocketing, burglary, or even larger-scale corporate crimes? Probably not. Of course, this doesn't mean all crime would vanish overnight. There would still be crimes of passion or those driven by other human instincts. But a significant portion of crimes, those motivated by financial gain, might just disappear. This could lead to a considerable reduction in crime rates across the globe. So in a world without money, we might just find ourselves in a much safer environment. A safer world could be waiting for us. Number 5, a challenge for international trade. If money ceased to exist, we'd face a major hurdle in international trade. Today, currencies serve as a universal medium of exchange, simplifying transactions between nations. But imagine a world without money. Suddenly, we're back to bartering, but on a global scale. Countries would need to agree on the value of their goods and services, a task made challenging by differing standards of value across cultures and economies. We'd be looking at a vastly complex international trade system. Think about it. How many barrels of oil is a car worth? How many smartphones equate to a ton of grain? These are the questions we'd need to grapple with, making trade negotiations more intricate and possibly contentious. Without a universal medium of exchange, we'd see a slowdown in global trade, possibly leading to resource scarcity in some regions. Globalization, as we know it, might need to take a step back. Number 4, a shift in power dynamics. In a world without money, the traditional power structures would be turned on their heads. The high-rises of Wall Street and the glistening penthouses of the rich and famous would lose their shine. Instead, the focus would shift towards those controlling essential resources. Imagine a world where the ones holding the keys to the granaries and water supplies become the new power brokers. The humble farmer, the ingenious engineer, the resourceful gatherer, these could be the new titans of industry. The control of food, water, and other essentials could become the new gold standard. This shift could lead to a new form of feudalism, where those who control the land and its resources hold sway over others. But it could also inspire a more communal way of living, with shared resources and collective decision-making. The mighty dollar's throne could be replaced by wheat and water. Number 3, the rise of community cooperation. Picture this. Without money as an exchange medium, we could witness a significant shift in how we interact with one another. No longer would we be able to rely on the convenience of currency to get what we need. Instead, we'd need to turn to our neighbors, our friends, our local community. We might see the revival of more personal, direct interactions. Exchanging goods and services would require communication, negotiation, and mutual understanding. We'd need to build relationships, learn to trust, and work together to meet our collective needs. Imagine the possibilities. A surplus of apples from your backyard tree could be swapped for a few hours of babysitting. A community garden could flourish with everyone chipping in and sharing the bounty. Without money, we'd need to rely on each other more than ever before. Our neighborhoods could turn into small, self-sufficient societies. Number 2, a potential positive impact on the environment. Without the driving force of money, our world might see a significant decrease in overconsumption and overproduction. The constant push for economic growth often fuels these damaging habits, leading to the depletion of natural resources and an increase in carbon emissions. However, in a world where money is no longer king, the need for continuous production and consumption could fall by the wayside. Instead, we could begin to see a shift towards more sustainable practices, a greater emphasis on recycling and reusing, and a decreased pressure on our planet's precious resources. The Earth's natural balance could be restored as we move away from a profit-driven society to one that values sustainability and preservation. This change could result in a more eco-friendly world, one where the health of our planet takes precedence over the accumulation of wealth. Mother Earth might breathe a sigh of relief. And finally, number 1, a world without greed. Without money, the motivation to hoard wealth could vanish, giving rise to a potentially more harmonious society. The allure of gold and coins, the lust for banknotes, and the chase of digital numbers on a screen could all become tales of the past. With the eradication of this drive, humanity might find itself more focused on the essentials: love, compassion, and mutual cooperation. The rat race for wealth accumulation could transform into a collective run towards progress and well-being. The world could become a place where the value of a man is not measured by his financial potency, but by his contribution to society. The question remains, however, could we, as a species, adapt to this dramatic shift? Could we evolve beyond the need for a monetary system? In the end, life without money could be a world of dramatic change. For better or worse, only time could tell. So, there you have it. The top 10 things that might happen if money ceased to exist. We've explored the possibility of a return to the barter system, where goods and services are exchanged directly. We've considered a world where the wealth gap is eliminated, as everyone starts on a level playing field. We've imagined how jobs may change, with people focusing on skills and talents instead of chasing lucrative careers. We've looked at the potential collapse of financial markets, the reduction in crime due to the absence of monetary incentives, and the challenges of international trade without a common currency. We've also contemplated a shift in power dynamics and increased community cooperation as people come together to meet their needs. Finally, we've discussed the environmental impact, with less emphasis on mass production and consumerism. It's certainly a thought-provoking scenario, isn't it? Thank you for joining us on this intellectual journey. Until next time.